Hi everybody, Robert Dyer, and welcome to the Robert Dyer channel Christmas Countdown. Today is December 8th, even though it may be December 11th. The CERN Super Collider may have something to do with the variations in the timelines, but today I have a very exciting product for this holiday season. As you know, if you've watched this channel for more than a few years, that I do get Hallmark ornaments every year. However, the number I get each year has unfortunately declined, even as the number of ornaments I want each year has skyrocketed because of the price gouging by Hallmark. I used to get maybe 3 or 4 ornaments, but now I have a limit of 2 each year usually. Here I have something I could not pass up, and that is the Nintendo NES. Holy smokers. And it's got light and sound, and it looks just like the real thing here in the picture. It says on here on the back, it says press the button on the ornament to see the power light illuminate and hear sounds from the Super Mario Brothers game. Batteries included. And even on the front here they have the classic font. It says Nintendo Entertainment System. And of course I wouldn't really call them memories because I still have my NES, and to me it's still an active system, and it's very difficult to choose a favorite console out of all the ones I've had. There really aren't any systems that I don't like. Each one has some very compelling reason why I bought it, so it's not like any of them are junk. And I also tend to fixate on the ones that I didn't have, like the Atari 5200, the Sega Saturn, and the GameCube. That was a major loss for me, especially because of the Star Wars game. But I think if I had to absolutely pick a favorite by saying what was the one that had the most number of games that were outstanding, and it's a toss-up at that point between the NES and the TurboGrafx 16, and I would just by a hair I'd have to say the NES, because it just had a much larger catalog and more games in number. And much like the TurboGrafx, I very much like the sound chip for the NES. No other system has really matched that particular sound aesthetic for me, but the TurboGrafx comes pretty close. And I would say when I think about the NES, of course you think about Mario and Zelda. I think I like Mario 2 and 3 better than the original, but for me the ultimate games were the 3 Castlevania ones. Those are just, each one of them is outstanding, must buy, especially if you like Dracula, vampires, and that sort of a setting, Universal monsters, or any of those sort of related topics. So those are a must buy. And I played a lot of Dragon Warrior, and I would say the ultimate third party for the NES by far was Capcom. They had some of my favorites: Bionic Commando, Strider, Mega Man, and not only were the graphics always among the best, but they had the very best composers in total. I don't think there's hardly any Capcom game from the NES era that had bad music. They all are pretty outstanding, and then when you get to the things like Bionic Commando, Strider, the Mega Man series, those are the best of the best as far as wringing the most out of that sound chip. And of course Castlevania is right up there with that. Some of my other nostalgia favorites, even though they wouldn't be on people's greatest hits, are Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Back to the Future 2 and 3 on one cartridge. It would be considered a garbage game, but I just like the graphics and the sound, and they have the music from the movie. I think only the Sega Master System did a better low-bit job of converting the soundtrack from Back to the Future. Total Recall, that was another clunker that I had. I have some nostalgia for getting to Mars once or twice in that. So let's take a closer look and listen to this, but before I do that, let's head over to our Nightmare Before Christmas Advent Calendar and see what's behind door number 8. Today is December 8th, and we'll open compartment number 8 here. This one actually opened up normally. There's a white bag. Okay, so I've torn this down the side again. I haven't looked inside, and now together we're going to find out who is behind door number 8. Holy smokers, it's Teddy, the vampire guy. Better look at this. Many say Mickey Mouse inspired vampire. He does have the mouse ears. He does have the basic colors. Very nice detail on here again, as always. Little swirls on the ears. Don't see any fangs. He's got this. This looks like really a Eastern inspired outfit he's got on here. I have to say he really stands out even among the figures that I've taken out, the first 8 here already. Here's the inner packaging. You have the ornament wrapped in the tissue, and then you've got the 2 batteries here they give you, which they certainly should at this price. Holy smokers. Well, here it is out of the wrappers, and I have to say this is probably one of the most, if not the most impressive sculpt I've ever seen on a Hallmark ornament. This is just down to the last detail. Zoom in there. These controllers look absolutely like the real thing. The cords even look the same. All the little accents. Plugs are kind of uneven in there, like they might be at your house. Now let's zoom in here on the front. See everything just as you would see it on an NES. Here's the back. Same control jacks. They're just very impressive all around. And now let's test the most important part, the sound. I know you talk about Castlevania and Mega Man and all that, but for me, the top NES game of all time was Al Bundy's High School Football. Just the translucent blue cartridge itself blew away the Zelda gold cartridge. It beats Madden and Tecmo Bowl hand down.
Hand down.
How many days after school did I spend guiding Polk High School to the 1966 Chicago All-City Championship? But it was the day I used that infernal controller to make Al complete his legendary 4 touchdowns in that one championship game that I unlocked the secret career mode in the game. The 8-bit Al turned to me on the screen and said, "You guided me to greatness today. Now I want you to direct the rest of my life. I'm not going back to work at the New Market Mall. I had a vision last night of a life of failure after eating a whole box of weenie tots."
Weenie tots.
What's a weenie tot? I typed one letter at a time using the A button. What's a weenie tot? Bob, a weenie tot is a delicious little hot dog type meat wrapped in a breaded shell and deep fried in lard. It's nature's perfect food. As we approached his Plymouth Duster in the parking lot, Al looked wistfully back at the stadium. "Boys became men on that field today," he said, handing me a girly girl beer and the latest issue of Big Uns magazine. "Here, I've been saving these for a special occasion," he said, handing me a big fat cigar. Suddenly, the power button on the Nintendo console popped out, and it was a little cigarette lighter. Did you know that was in there the whole time? And that only Al Bundy's High School Football can unlock that? Admiring the blocky smoke of an 8-bit cigar, Al said, "Let's head for Burger King where we can suck down Whoppers at my private table." Later at that table, I punched the Contra code into the controller, revealing a hidden item, a large red pill.
A large red pill.
Savoring a flame-broiled patty, Al looks at it and said, "What's this? A real Hots candy?" "Just shut up and eat it, Dr. Mario," I said. Chasing it with a swig of Dr. Pepper, Al suddenly bore a stricken look. He said, "Now it all makes sense. Everything they told us since 1945 was a lie. The Cold War, JFK, the space program, all a diversion while they destroy America and create a prison planet under the boot of the New World Order." Looking off into the distance, he said, "I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it."
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Well, other than the fact that there maybe could have been more games included in the sound effects from Nintendo, like Punch-Out or Zelda. There's another one, Punch-Out. The Contra, Jackal, and Guerrilla War. That was one of my favorites. So many games, so many memories, but also still an adventure that's ongoing for me. And there's something about the aesthetics of the cartridges and the system that you can't get from an emulator. But I'll say that even though in many cases there's been steep decline in quality, I'm thinking especially of the Wizard of Oz series from Hallmark over the years, but this one is outstanding. It's one of the best they've ever done. There's no way that I cannot give this 5 stars. And I think if you are a Nintendo fan, you simply must get out there and get this. And I hope you like this video. Share it with your friends. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time, tomorrow, on this Christmas countdown. Bye, everybody.